Welcome to the Successful Home Inspector Podcast, where we discuss everything you need to know about home inspection from A to Z. Brought to you by Preston Sandlin and Home Inspection Carolina. We're here to share some success stories and some not so successful stories. Some things we can all learn from, and maybe, just maybe, we can help each other and raise the profession. So sit back, turn up the volume, and enjoy. Now, here's your host of the Successful Home Inspector Podcast, Preston Sandlin.
I always like to have guaranteed inspections. Well, now you can with InspectNewHomes.com. Owned and operated by the Home Inspector team. The only website that's designed for new builders and home inspectors to collaborate and work together. It's a grading system that grades new homes to increase the quality product of their homes. Bring the new builder something they've never had before. Quality inspection by a licensed home inspector at InspectNewHomes.com.
All right, I am here with all listeners. I am here. I got a special treat for you. I'm here with a recent friend that I made, but we seem to be singing out of the same hymn book. I am here with Roy Wier out of Eastern Iowa. Did I say that right, Roy?
Yes, sir.
How you doing this morning?
Doing great, Preston. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know when the listeners will be listening to it, but we're recording it early Sunday morning, and I just want to tell Roy I appreciate you getting up at 7 o'clock his time, and on a Sunday that could be early, but I appreciate you joining us, and Roy would like to get to know a little bit more about you, so tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I've been in the home inspection business for a couple of years now. I'm originally from Central Texas, and I bounced around the country a little bit and wound up in Eastern Iowa. So business is doing good, taking off a little bit. I've been married for about 4 years. I've got a little toddler and a couple of boxers, and I don't know. That's life is good, man.
Awesome. Well, I have to tell all the listeners, one of the things that, even though I probably just met Roy in the last year and a half, 2 years, one thing about this guy is he's the best guy on Instagram that I know. He constantly puts stuff up, and it's good stuff. He has his roofies, where he takes his pictures on his roofies, and it seems like every time somebody has a beard, because Roy has a ZZ Top-worthy beard, and it's pretty cool. And every time you have a client or customer that has a beard, you guys take a picture together. That's awesome, brother. That's good stuff, man. That's
it's a brotherhood, man. It's crazy. I haven't had a single client turn me down on that yet. Every time I got a client that has a beard, I'm like, hey, man, I asked all my bearded clients to take a picture with me. Is that cool? And everybody's down, and so it's just fun.
Yeah, it must be something like I've accidentally fell into some other brotherhoods, like I have a motorcycle and I have a Jeep, but they're both not my normal vehicle. But when I ride my motorcycle or my Jeep, every time there's another person with a Jeep, there's a Jeep wave. And when you're riding a motorcycle, there's a motorcycle wave. Hey, what's going on?
Oh yeah.
What's going on?
Yep. You got the beard nod.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. You have the beard thing. But here's the funky thing about it, though. Half the time when I'm driving my Jeep and motorcycle, I forget about it. I just, by the time, and they wave at me and they pass through the light, I'm like, oh, shit, I try to wave back. I'm like, oh, man, dude probably thinks I'm a jerk. But then I'm driving my regular car or my wife's Buick, and all of a sudden I remember it. And every motorcycle goes by a Jeep, I'm waving away, and they're like, hell no,
Who is this jackass in a Buick?
Yeah, no kidding. So it's good thing you probably have the beard all the time. So, it's not a part-time gig. But there are some brotherhoods, man. And, I don't know. If you wind up getting some inspections because of it, all the better. Well, Roy, not too many of us grew up, wanting to be a home inspector. I didn't even know that was a thing, when I was a kid. So tell us exactly how you, got into home inspection and what you want to be when you were a kid.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be, I think at one point I wanted to be a dentist. And then I got to be about 14 and I got a hold of some Robert Kiyosaki and I wanted to be a real estate investor. And, so anyway, I wound up in construction for about 15 years. I started out as a grunt and, worked my way up, became a construction manager, contractor, and, had, worked on several different large projects around the country. Some of them residential, and one of the biggest project I worked on was a $58 million water treatment plant in California that I helped. I was actually kind of an inspector for that job. I was the owner's representative on site. So anyway, after that project, I wound up moving to Iowa, and my first job in Iowa was working as for a nonprofit as a construction manager. Rebuilding a bunch of homes that got flooded. Cedar Rapids had a really bad flood in 2008, and so I helped rebuild about 120 homes that got flooded with volunteer labor. So that was interesting. Oh, wow. And when I moved to Iowa, I bought my first house. I had a home inspection, and with my construction background, I thought I could do this. This guy missed a couple things that I saw.
Right.
So that's kind of what got me interested, and I didn't really pursue it too much. And 5 years later, I kind of decided that I needed to figure something else out. I had a government job that I didn't really like, and was sitting at a cubicle 85% of my day, and I looked around the room and saw a bunch of people that were heading, talking about retirement that were in their 30s. And I didn't want to be that guy. So
right.
So I decided to go ahead and get started, and here we are a couple years later, and things are going well.
Cool. Now, so where did you go through one of the schools, or how did you seek out? I mean, I know you had construction background, but obviously you had to, what got you from the cubicle to the crawl space, so to speak, I guess.
Sure. So there's no licensing requirements or anything like that in Iowa. So literally, one of my competitors used to work for Walmart before he became a home inspector, and that's fine. People come from all walks. That's great. But with my background, I was able to use the online classes from InterNACHI and get certified that way, and that's how I got the filled in the gaps in my knowledge base, I guess.
Awesome. And we talked a little bit in the pre-interview. I know you've hired a guy, which is great. I mean, man, I went 6 years before I hired my first person, so you're ahead of me. What was it like hiring the first person? Because I know there's a lot of listeners out there that struggle with that. What's that like?
Well, it was interesting. I actually recruited my first inspector before I officially started the business. I've known the guy for 5 years, and I used to work with him as a carpenter at one of my previous jobs, and so I knew I wanted to have him on board, and so it was just kind of a slow build up because he had a pretty good job already, and I had to snake him away from that gradually, and know that I could provide for his family. Just built himself a brand new house, and so I wanted to make sure that I was at a point where I could take care, guarantee him enough work that he was going to be all right. And since he went full time a couple of months ago, we've worked 6 days a week, every week, unless he just, I think this Saturday was the first Saturday. He got off yesterday, and it was his daughter's birthday, so you know, I guess I have to let him off for Saturday and throwing his kid a birthday party.
We're just sorry. Just kidding. Now,
but I've actually.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say I've actually hired a couple other people as well. I've got a full-time admin person that's helping me, and that's been great. And as far as getting inspections booked and some of the marketing stuff that we do, and then I also hired a full-time associate inspector or apprentice, whatever you want to call him, who was actually a client, and it just, you know, became obvious during the inspection that this was a guy who might be good at what we do. So anyway, that's all that hiring has happened within the last few months. For the most part, the certified inspector that works with me, he was part-time for the last 6 or 8 months as he gradually, you know, worked into full-time. So
awesome.
Anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. You're way ahead of the game, man. I probably went 5 or 6 years, you know, just doing night and day, doing inspections, and you know, after a while, I was like, I'm killing myself, man. It's, you know, I was making good money for one guy, but my quality of life sucked. And I'm like, I either got to, you know, go up on the price and cut back on my inspections, which is a viable option, and there's nothing wrong with that, or expand. Or one or the other.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's more fun to raise your price than keep doing it.
you know, sometimes I look back and I say, you know, did I take a wrong turn there at Albuquerque or something? You know, especially when you get a call back and one of your guys said, "How much?" You said, "What?" You know, like, oh God, I should have just stayed. But there's nothing wrong with being a one-man shop. But if you start moving forward, it sounds like you're hiring people, and I know in the beginning it's kind of like. You know, I didn't really have a training process. It was just kind of like, all right, just follow me. just listen. You know, it was kind of, I always say it's sort of like, you know, when somebody starts out, they're a fly on the wall, and I'm doing everything. And then by the time they finish, I want to be the fly on the wall, and them doing everything. So how do we get from there to there? and everybody's different. You know, some people, you know, depending on what skills they already have or where they accelerate or how much time they have. But what, like, moving forward, how do you picture, like, training folks? What do you have any, and I know it's all different, but what sort of, we'll take it there. If you hired somebody, interviewed somebody today, how would you take them from fly on the wall to you being a fly on the wall, I guess, so to speak?
Sure. Well, like you said, it depends on their background, their experience. You know, the other inspector that I have working for me was in construction for over 20 years before he came on with me, and so, you know, he had some gaps to fill in, and he took some online classes, and then we've also been doing a lot of, you know, we're very open with each other, so we talk about if he doesn't have experience with something, and if we run into something and he's not. Doesn't, you know, needs a little help figuring it out, then we look at that together, and that's kind of how we've gone along with him. But the apprentice that I've hired, the approach that I'm taking with him is that I tried to first, you know, get him familiar with the software, and then I also started him out just kind of one step at a time, you know, so. Give them a little outlet tester, say, okay, and teach them how to check outlets, and then teach them how to open and close windows and operate the window and look for thermal paint issues and all that kind of stuff. So just kind of one step at a time, and then coming along with me and you know, being a fly on the wall, and just kind of gradually build into people and have them taking online classes at the same time. And that's the approach that I've been taking, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, but we're figuring it out kind of as we go.
I hear you. That's the way it is. And, you know, I could ask that question, what's your training program like? And, I mean, you know, same thing. I kind of have an outline, but every guy's different. I mean, you know, and some people, like, with their experience or how much time they're willing to put, you know, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all. You know, I think it's, you know, I just never release the guy until he's comfortable and I'm comfortable. I guess I'll say that. And whatever it takes to get there, you know, that's what we're going to do. Now, Roy, switching gears here just a little bit. Do you have a success quote you could share with us?
Do I have a what?
A success quote, a quote or that you like. Any quotation?
A quote that I like.
Or that applies to. Didn't mean to blindside you there. I can come back to it too if you want to.
No, that's all right. I can't remember who said it. I think it was Winston Churchill. Never give up. Never,
right.
never give up.
I think you're right, and it's probably repeated by the coach of the NC State, Valvano. You know, that had cancer. Same quote, I think.
Yeah, man. I don't know sports, so you're speaking French to me, but right on.
All right. Well, Roy, let's say that I'm a buyer or real estate agent in your market. There are other home inspectors in your market. Why should I hire a Vigilant Home Inspection? Is there something you guys do that others don't?
Well, we have a 200% money back satisfaction guarantee. So at the end of the review, in our market, generally what we have them do is we'll come and do the inspection, and then we have them meet us for the last 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the size and type of property. And when we get done with that review, I let them know if they're not satisfied for any reason whatsoever, they think I smell funny, or they don't feel like maybe somebody else could have done a better job, then we'll waive our fee and pay whoever they think might do better. So I have that. I also use the International's 90-day buyback guarantee. So from the day of closing forward 90 days, they'll buy your house back. I give veterans half off, so I give a 50% discount to vets, which is actually how I found this apprentice that I got helping me. He was a veteran, or is a veteran, and was a client, and that's how we met.
Awesome.
So yeah, we have a few other things that we do. We also. Actually, I stole a lot of stuff from you, man. We'll fix the small stuff for free. That's huge. I take my caulk gun on the roof with me and caulk nail heads and replace missing and broken outlet covers and switch plate covers. And I just looked around and I stumbled across your YouTube videos and stuff. And one of your YouTube videos was talking about we fix the small stuff for free, and I just kind of ran with that. And I think that's one of my most popular reasons that people are willing to give us a shot, try us out.
Yeah, I've done a lot of, realtor presence, when you get your 5 minutes of fame or whatever, when you bring them food for, their meeting or whatever. I've got up there with this guarantee or that guarantee, my infrared, and showed them, how I could see the handprint. It's kind of like golf clap. Ooh, yeah. But then I got up there and, said I would fix the small stuff and, take the nitpicky things off of the inspection report. Man, they went nuts.
Oh, yeah.
That by far was most popular with them. And I guess from their point of view, that's helping them out. They're like, so many of us get up there and say all our credentials and all this. And that means a lot to other home inspectors, but to the average realtor, that doesn't mean squat.
Yeah.
Tell them what you're going to do to help them out. That's your speaking
exactly.
language.
Yeah.
Well, Roy, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it more than just helping out the buyer's agent. The buyer just so much gratitude is shown whenever you can tell them that. Whenever you tell them, I found a bunch of nail heads on the roof that the caulk had peeled off, and I went ahead and touched that up, or this outlet cover, that outlet cover was missing, and we put that on for you. That's just something we do. You had a bunch of light bulbs out. We replaced the ones we could get to. They just, if you want stark raving fans, that's, I don't know. It's just been, the response has been crazy, and I hope none of my competitors are listening to me say that.
You don't need to edit that out of the thing. No, you're dead right. I always did it. Probably most home inspectors always did it, just never did it formally. What I mean by that is, it's like, loose stripe plate or something. I always just tighten that. I'm sure a lot of other folks did. But then, I made it more formal where we actually made a list of things that we'll repair and went out and bought supplies, to where I'm ready. I got that caulk gun. I got that. And I always joke with the realtors. I'm like, I'm not going to regrout a tub. It's got to be 5 minutes or less. But and we, if we can take 10 to 15 items off the repair kits, makes your job easier, makes our job easier because I don't have to type as much.
Right.
And
exactly.
we're better with a caulk gun than a keyboard anyway. So good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Roy, I'm going to combine these next two questions. But I realize most home inspectors don't have a whole lot of spare time, especially starting out. You're working on your business all the time. But what would you do if you had spare time? And tell us something most people don't know about you.
If I had spare time, right now I probably I'm working towards getting some spare time, and I'm looking forward to spending that with my wife and kids. If I get a little more spare time than that to just actually have a hobby again, I'd probably start rodeoing a little bit again. Like I said, I grew up in Central Texas on a ranch, and I grew up team roping, and that's a sport that I haven't been able to be involved in, and I don't know, over 15 years now, and it'd be cool to get it back into that one of these days.
Dude, you must be freaking the bravest dude ever. I must respect. There's a realtor here in Charlotte that was a former rodeo champion, and every time I see a guy, I'm just like, man, I played football, I wrestled and whatever, but I'm like, homage. I mean, this dude rode bulls, I think. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm getting on.
Yeah, those guys are crazy. I'm not riding no bull either.
Several 1,000-pound animal that wants to kill me. I'm like, no way. There's not enough money in the world. I tried one of those mechanical bulls one time to try to impress a girl, and when most things you try to do to impress a girl, you know how that winds up. I think I got through across a couple of chairs. So my first and last time riding a bull. Anyway, we got one more question here, Roy, and we're up against the break here. You know as well as I do that if you do enough inspections, you're going to have an unhappy camper. How do you handle an unhappy camper, and do you have a process? What's that look like?
Well, it kind of depends on why they're unhappy. My most recent unhappy camper was a guy who just didn't like my personality, I guess. I'm kind of his realtor is pretty fun, and I'm friendly with her, and we joke around a little bit, and he didn't like how I came across. He felt like I was being condescending, and
wow.
So there was something that we caught during the review at the end, and he didn't like that we didn't see that during our normal inspection. We were looking at it towards the end, so he just was generally dissatisfied, and even though he didn't have a complaint necessarily about the things that we found or didn't find, after we chased down this issue, there was a crack in his foundation, and there was some water coming into a dark closet in a basement bedroom. And when my apprentice looked at it, he didn't quite he didn't see it. He didn't realize what was going on, and there was anyway. I don't need to tell you the whole story, I suppose, but basically he started complaining at the very end of my closeout, and I have that 200% guarantee, so I'm talking about that, and he starts talking about how he works hard for his money, and he just wants to make sure he's getting his money's worth, and he's clearly not satisfied and lean in that direction. So I just said, you know what, man, if you're not happy, I'll just waive your inspection fee and we'll call it good, and I'll send you a report anyway, but there's no guarantees implied or suggested.
Right.
And
release.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I just walked away from that, and I wound up finding out that he'd actually been to prison for beating the hell out of an old man when he was high. And so anyway, I mean, this is information that would have been good to have on the front end, but I might have approached the gentleman a little bit differently if I'd known his background a little bit better. But sometimes those things happen, and I don't know, the way I look at it, unless there's people are just being totally, I've had people who, have a water heater go out 2 months after the inspection, and I've got photos, and there's nothing wrong with the water heater when I did the inspection, and, they're upset with me, and, that it's not really a whole lot I can do about that, but we really try to make things right and take care of people when they're being reasonable and there's an understandable reason that they have an issue. So.
No, same here. And a long time ago, I tell my kids and my wife this, I figured out that, if you break all the population up, probably, 40, 50% of the people are happy most of the time. And then another 40, 50, I don't know what my math, I might go over 100 here, but are, kind of 50-50. But there's about 5 to 8% of the population, they're just freaking not happy no matter what the hell you do. And when you run across one of these folks, it's just...
Get away as fast as possible.
Yeah. And, I had a bunch of different roommates in college, and I had one. That dude would just buy stuff to just... He enjoyed fucking taking it back and complaining about it and getting his money back. That's like, to me, that's like the last thing I want to do is go to freaking customer service. He loved it. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? But there's people like that. They're just wired. I don't know if they're just, they weren't breastfed or something. I don't know what. I don't know what happened to them. But just identify. And, the funny thing is, I've refunded like your situation with a guy that wasn't happy. And sometimes I can see that coming, and I refund the money and get that signed release. And sometimes my inspectors disagree. We didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, look, I can tell you, if it's not this, it's going to be something else. This person,
right.
We need a divorce from this person.
Yeah, that situation does not get better.
Yeah, exactly. And the next thing he comes back with is probably going to be worse than this. So let's just refund the freaking money. We literally had somebody move in a house one time, and then for the next week they just invited contractors to come and look and try to find stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's you get those type people. So again, not breastfed or something. I don't know what happened, but anyway. Well, we're going to get into some highs and lows, but Roy, first let's take a pause for our sponsors.
Hey, home inspectors out there, I'm going to tell you a creative, inexpensive way to increase your business massively. Go to homeinspectionflyers.com and get the flyers. You get 5 flyers a month. You customize them to yourself. They're turnkey, they're creative, and it's $29 a month for 5 flyers. That's less than $6 a flyer. And they are done by yours truly, Preston Sandlin. And I am a creative guy, especially when I don't take my medication. But I come up with some crazy stuff. It works for my business. I went from 1 inspector to 7 inspectors with this strategy alone. So again, for $29.95, you get 5 flyers. I do 1 per week. I send them off to get copied on the internet. I can get them for about 7 cents a piece, and I put them out in the boxes when I do my candy run. Works fantastic. homeinspectionflyers.com. Thanks.
I'm back here with Roy Wier out of eastern Iowa, but also from Texas, and former rodeo roping something or another. Not bull riding, but still much respect. Roy, tell us about a time when you failed. Take us there, and what you learned from it.
A time where I failed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I know a lot of people are like, which one?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not because I can't think of any. I think I've had some trouble at different times with patience, and just controlling, just being patient enough with people, and here recently in training new inspectors, it's difficult. You want to just take your brain and put it in their brain, and there's been a few times where I kind of got a little excited about things, and I needed to just take a step back, and for example, the situation I just talked about a little while ago, where we had had a something that got missed by my apprentice during the inspection. You know, I you can't take things back. You know, once you say something, it's said, and so I think one of the biggest mistakes that I make is to you know, slip up like that and not think before I say something, because you can really affect people. And so I think that's the thing that I'm trying to get better at right now the most, is just, you know, being understanding and being patient with these guys that I'm training, and not making that mistake of scarring them or making them feel insecure or anything, because we need them to have confidence. We need them to feel confident about their abilities and things. So we gotta just realize that they are where they're at. And so anyway, that's something recent. I can go a lot worse and a lot more graphic.
No, that's good. That's good. Sounds like I have the same problem. Logic over emotion. I try to tell myself, you know, if I get mad, I'm running on emotion. I need the logic. All right, this happened. Not the outcome that I wanted.
Right.
How can we either fix this or prevent this from happening in the future? But it's easy to go, you know, to the red line and what the hell's wrong with you? You know, logic over emotion. Logic over emotion. I try to, but it's hard sometimes. Roy, on the other end of the spectrum, have you had I used to call it I made it moment, but I don't think we ever feel it. How about I've come a long way moment? Have you ever had that moment where you're like, wow, you know? A lot of people, it's like they're on vacation and they're making money while they're on vacation, where that never happened before, you know, that sort of thing. Have you had one of those moments?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that specific moment that you're talking about where you're on vacation, that for the first time I'm leaving town. I'm coming to a business meeting in Dallas next. Actually, I'm flying out today, and so I'll be gone for the next 4 or 5 days, and the business is going to keep going while I'm in Texas, and so I'm looking forward to that. That's just kind of a wow moment. And there's a lot here recently with the amount of growth that we've had. It's just kind of all the time. I'm looking at different numbers, and I mean, I've already surpassed last year's number of inspections for the whole year, and it's only April. So
wow, yeah, you're only first quarter. You've done the whole year in the first quarter. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, well, I did. I was averaging about 25 inspections a month last year, and that's what we're doing every week now. So it's kind of cool, you know. That's
phenomenal. Now, does your area, does it have? I know every once in a while I talk to somebody like in Florida or something, and, you know, their seasons are different. But is it the traditional spring, you know, getting close to kids getting out of school that, you know, that really takes off spring and summer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the market's just been really, really good here. Normally we have a pretty slow winter because, you know, it snows. It's Iowa. It's cold. People don't want to be out looking at houses that are covered in snow. But this year, the market didn't really slow down for the winter. And I don't know exactly why that is. I'm sure there's a lot of factors, but typically we have it slows down a lot for us in the winter, and then it picks up, you know, April, May, through those summer months. So.
Awesome. Roy, if somebody came to you today that said they wanted to either start their own business or start their own home inspection business or something, and they asked you for a book, what book would you recommend? Roy, I'm thinking about starting my own business. You have your own business. Is there a book that I should read? What would you tell them?
You know, I wouldn't say this in front of a lot of the real estate companies around here, but Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, is I really like that book, and it's not a book, but you know, I'd read The One Thing and follow Gary V and Preston Sandlin on social media.
All right, the six-pack will be in the back of your car. Stay off there. Yeah, and buy his flyers. Just kidding. Well, and I know we talked a little bit about leading up to, how you got to where you are, so kind of some back history. But let's go the other direction, go to the future. And I know you don't have a crystal ball, none of us do, but, if you're sitting at a bar, and I always try to make these interviews like, Preston, why do you do that? And I'm like, well, you ever been to those things where the home inspectors, were sitting at the bar talking, and that's great stuff? I was like, I want to replicate that. So if we're sitting at the bar, and I said, Roy, how do you think home inspections will change in the future? What would be your answer?
Man, I have no idea. I think it's like everything. We'll just continue to, processes and systems will continue to be developed that will help it to be faster, more efficient. I don't see it ever being taken over by robots or anything. I don't know that. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, everything gets automated eventually, but yeah, I think we'll just continue to see innovation and systems and processes that help with efficiency. And I don't know beyond that.
The one thing I'm always looking out for is Uberization, so to speak. What Uber did to the taxi service, and what Amazon did to the booksellers. But like you said, I don't think our job can be taken over by robots. I could be wrong about that, but they would have to know a hell of a lot about a lot of things to be able to reason. And I don't think AI is there yet. It might be at some point, but
right.
I don't know. There may be some Uberization and scheduling or something along that lines, but I don't. Knock on wood or simulated plastic, whatever this is right here. Hopefully, artificial intelligence does it. Although they do have the robots, the GoBots and stuff. I know Scott Baker out in California and stuff. But you got these but you're controlling them. Those are kind of cool. But hopefully we'll have a job for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah. Something that happened just recently here, as far as the scheduling, automation stuff. Both of the real estate boards that are near me implemented showing time just kind of as a standard across the board for all realtors, and that's really streamlined our booking process, our scheduling process. Has helped a lot with that, and that just happened.
Tell me a little bit more about that. What is it like? You have to show at 8:30, 9:30. That's sort of thing, or what do you mean? Like,
so showing time is an app or service that.
I see.
Yeah. So you don't have to call a live person. Yeah, you don't have to call the listing. So before we had to call the listing agency, tell them what time we wanted to do the inspection, get it, then wait for a call back from the buyer or whatever. With showing time, it's automated. You have an app. You can request the inspection on their app or on your laptop, whatever, either way. And you just go in there and say, this is the day and time we want. And if it's vacant, it's usually confirmed immediately. You don't have to wait. You don't have to make a single phone call to get that confirmation, and you don't have to wait. If it's occupied, then sometimes they have it set up to where the email goes directly to the owner or the tenant so that they can confirm it, or it'll go to the listing agent and then they'll get with their client confirm it. But it really streamlined stuff and cut down some of our phone time. So we have one company that's a holdout because they don't want to get rid of their admin person that serves that function, and I can appreciate that. I mean, they don't want to. They feel like that sets them apart, and they don't want to, cut somebody's job. But I really like showing time. It's pretty nice
I
deal.
get it, and that's nice, but you're not going to stay in business hauling buckets when there's a pipeline.
That's right. Well,
you're just not going to be as efficient. You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta, and you don't want to. I always tell people, I always hear this one. That's the way we've always done it. I'm like, well, Woolworth always did it a certain way. Then Sears came along. Sears always did it a certain way, and then Walmart came along. Walmart always did it a certain way, and then Amazon came along. So I'm not so sure saying that we've always done it a certain way is the smartest thing to do all the time. I mean, I get the romanticism and, you know, the whatever you call it, but, you know, let's don't become a dinosaur.
This is how we've always done it is my least favorite thing to hear anyone say ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we've done in the past that weren't smart, so that doesn't necessarily. I mean, you know, we used, you know, polybutylene piping with aluminum connectors, and if we stuck with that, because we've always done it, you know, we'd have a lot of flooded houses. Well, I want to switch gears here just a little bit. I know the answer to this before I ask it because it's the same for every home inspector. Have you ever been thrown under the bus by a contractor? You know, your home inspector should have fill in the blank. How do you handle this? Do you have any ideas for our listeners how they should handle it? Or I don't think we can prevent it, but, you know, is there anything we can do? I guess is what I'm asking.
Oh, man. The only one that I've really had throw me under the bus, and it's happened twice now, and I think it was the same carpet cleaning company, but pet odors. So I've had a couple of homes where, you know, when we did the inspection, there was no, and I'm not, you know, I'm not going through there and blacking out all the windows and checking everything with a black light. So, you know, I'm not necessarily going to catch pet stains. And I've had a couple of homes where the sellers were good at concealing the odor and use, you know, plug-in fresheners and that kind of stuff.
Or something.
Right. So, you know, I bought a couple of black light flashlights, and I tried that, and it wasn't effective. And, you know, people are going to say things, you know, with that kind of situation, you know, I think the only thing that I've come up with, I'm sure you have a better idea than I do because you've got a lot more experience, but the idea that I came up with was to get a hold of them and help them understand that contract. Not in obviously you have to be civil about it because these are people that you're going to have to continue to deal with, and if you're a jerk about something, then you just took away their motivation to be any kind of cool with you. So to help them understand, you know, this is what a home inspection is. This is why I couldn't find that or didn't find that, and that's a limitation. So please, you know, if you could understand that and not tell our clients that that's something a home inspector should, you know, was supposed to find, that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. That pet odor guy, he's an assassin. I mean, he's coming there looking for one thing and one thing only. And he's highly trained, got all kinds of equipment to show it, or give them the impression that it's there. Sometimes I think these guys and some of these mold guys, you know, they've already decided they're going to make a sale. You know, they're mold remediation salesmen. That doesn't necessarily whether you need it or not. You get my drift. And sometimes I wonder about pet people too, because if you know, house is 80 years old, there's been pets in there sometime or another. I mean, you know what I mean? Right. I can find a 20-year-old stain or something. I don't know. I just get frustrated with these folks because they're more interested in making a sale than really, you know, once they get inside your client's head, oh, yeah, you know, cat feed over there in the corner. Well, I can't see it, but now it's in my head, and every time I look over there, I smell it. You know? So I don't know. You know, we have a ton of disclaimers, and I hate that, but I think on that you know, if you've got some sort of chemical sensitivity, you need to get you know, I'm here for 3 hours, and I'm looking at the entire house. You know, I'm not a hired assassin who also has a special interest in a sale if I can convince you that a cat peed in the corner, or convince you that you have, you know, some black stuff on, you know, your crawl space. I mean, I'm not trying to sound whatever, but can you tell I've got some sores and some wounds?
Yep.
I mean,
I think we all.
They don't want to get in their car and drive all the way out there and go, oh yeah, it's fine, nothing to see here.
Right.
Well, they want to make a sale.
Yep. They're trying to feed their families and figure out a way to make that job happen, and you know.
Sometimes I wonder if it's ethical what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we all know that sometimes it's not, and that's just kind of the suck you into things, you know. I mean, that's but on the upside, you know, that's kind of what we get. You gotta keep things in perspective, and one of the reasons that we're able to charge what we charge and do what we do is because we're willing to be that peanut butter between the two slices of bread on all this stuff. And if you don't have the tolerance for that to deal with some of those phone calls and all that stuff, that unpleasant side of this job, then I mean, I guess you just have to. I just look at it as part of the gig, you know. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it, but it's something that's just part of it, you know.
Well, I try to tell my folks that if you ever see this, like, you know, $49, $69 HVAC tune-up, free duct cleaning of one room, free $29, that's not a $69 tune-up. That's not a $29. That is a lead generation for them to come out and scare the shit out of you and try to sell you an entire system, or try to sell you, you know, I try to tell them that on the front end. Yeah, I mean, you got a 12-year-old system. It's not the most efficient, but it's working, and it'll get you through the season. It probably gets you through 2 or 3 more seasons. So, you know, you can spend $7,000 now and in 4 years have a 4-year-old system, or, you know, you can spend a couple of $100 here and there and 4 years from now spend $7,000 and have a brand new system. How do you want to do it? You know, honestly, to me, it's the second version, because time value of money plus, you know, 4 years from now when I sell my house, I got a brand new system I'm selling with versus a 3-year-old. I mean, but everybody's different. So, well, let's change, and we're heading on the back end here, Roy. Sorry, I'm holding you up. I know you got to get on the plane. What is the wildest, weirdest, or craziest thing you or your guy have ever found on a home inspection? And remember, this is a G-rated show.
Yeah, we won't talk about those things.
Off the air.
Oh, let's see. I found a lot of interesting things. You know, it's hard to. My recall's not the best. I'm really, my short-term memory's good. I can get me through an inspection, but as far as thinking back about all that stuff, I put it on Instagram so I can look back there and see, oh yeah, that was something interesting I saw. You know, it all blends together. But one thing I ran into was it was a 100-some-year-old house, and the attic had. I had never seen this much bat guano in my life. Oh. And, I mean, it was very excessive, and had an infestation for a long time, I'm sure. So that was different. Some of the favorite ones for me are the time capsules. You know, you've been in some of those houses that are, you know, from the 50s or the 60s or whatever, and they still got the pastel green rotary phone hanging in the kitchen, and all the kitchen cabinets have those like the big old disc shaped handles and pulls and stuff, and you know, it just looks like you step back into in time, and that's always fun for me. So.
The refrigerator looks like a car, an old car with chrome bumpers and stuff.
It probably would hold up better in an auto accident than some of the cars on the road today.
But you know that some of that retro stuff's coming back. You know, you go in some of these vintage shops and stuff, man. If you hold on to something long enough, it'll come back, man. It'll come back. You know what I find that's funny too is, you know, back in the 50s and before, you know, everybody had hardwood floors. I mean, that's what you had. And carpet was a new thing, you know, in the 60s, and only people with money had carpet. and now it's reversed. You know, only people with money have hardwood. You know, carpet's a cheap thing. Roy, we're winding down. Just a couple of questions here. I'll let you go. If you had to move to a brand new area equal to the size of where you live now and had to start all over, room and board taken care of, you still have all your equipment, but you just don't know anybody. You're having to start all over from that perspective. You have $5,000 to market. What are you going to do in that first week with $5,000? basically it's kind of an ROI question. What are you going to get the most return, on your
right? I'm gonna become a member of the association there and get involved and get a database from the association. And I don't know if you can do this everywhere, but here the association's been fine with sharing their database of all their agents. And so I just get a database of all those agents. I try to find out, a lot of times there's ways to find out who those top producers are. I'd probably try to introduce myself to them and explain to them, what I offer that's different than everybody else. And I just right away just find as many ways as possible to get in front of those realtors.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. I got a suggestion for you, Roy. I was thinking about this. I thought about this a while. I didn't tell you. In fact, I was even going to have my kids do it, but I just didn't have time. Well, for the listeners out there who don't know Roy, I mean, we talked about it a little bit. He has a beard, very distinct beard, and glasses, and kind of normal hair on top, but it's very distinct looking. And what I was thinking, and beards are in too, is like a bit emoji. Like picture a bit emoji, just like with glasses, beard, and just hair on top. But that is, you fill in the face with your imagination. You with me? So basically, like a little bit emoji, hair, glasses, beard, and mustache. That's all there is. But man, I would come up with that because that's you. That's distinctive. I'd put that on everything. Right. I would brand that, visual at home inspection. Man, I would even have like little masks made where you go to things, people can put their own face in it, or like where they're kind of connected and people put their own face. But a bit emoji with beard, glasses, and I guess is your hair kind of spiky on top a little bit or something like that? I can't quite remember. But dude, that would be my branding. But that's just me. I do it myself. Right. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna have to find out what a bit emoji is and go make one of those, I guess. But yeah, no, that's great, man. I like it. I thought about getting, like, have you seen like at a wedding where they're doing the photo booth and stuff, and they got the props, and there's always a beard prop. So I'm thinking what I need to do to get more clients to take pictures with me at the end of the inspection is to get a couple of those beard props. Or the beard glasses in the head, maybe I don't know, whatever, and give them that so that I can put it on social media, but it takes that most of them the hesitation is, well, I don't want that out there or whatever, so it cover up enough that people aren't going to know exactly who that person is necessarily unless they share it on social media, and so I could put that out there, and then if they like my Facebook page, they go to leave me a review on Facebook, whatever, they see it, they can share it, or I can send it to them and let them share it too, or whatever. But I think that would kind of...
Dude, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm going to go grow me a beard now. How long it'd probably take me 2 years to get it your size, but...
Yeah, it's longer right now than I ever had it. So I've been growing it out for about a year.
Dude, that's brilliant. We might have to cut this out of the thing because the guys out there with the beard are going to steal that idea. No, but I would do the beard and the glasses. And like that way you're real distinctive. You know what I mean? Like have it like on a stick and have a couple in your truck. And say, hey, I just do this little thing at the end. You don't have to do it. But most people love that kind of stuff. They'll be like, oh, what do you think? They'll want to do it too, They'll think it's funny. You get them to put it on their social media and, just ask if they would tag you back or something. Dude, that's great.
Yeah.
Really, love it. Well, Roy,
I got an action item now.
Yeah, there you go. Is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't?
Yeah, I have no idea. I appreciate being on the show, and this has been a good time. I don't have any idea what else to talk about really. But yeah, I think you went through everything.
Awesome. Well, Roy, it's been great. Man, you dropped a lot of gold nuggets and gave me some ideas, inspired me. For all the listeners out there, if you got value from Roy, and you did, let's go to his Facebook page and give him some likes and stuff. I think that helps him out. What's your business Facebook page, Roy?
It's facebook.com/Vigilant Home, VIGILANT home. Sorry, my website too. So.
Okay, yeah. If you want to check out his website, that's Vigilant Home, plural or singular?
Singular, VigilantHome.com. Sorry, I wasn't trying to send. I started to say .com at the end of the Facebook thing, and that's not right. I'm so used to rattling off my website, So.
Yeah. Well, Vigilant Home, I'm sure if you search in Google or in Facebook, you get the Facebook page or the regular page.
Yeah.
Is there a way, if somebody wanted to learn more about you, could they email you or contact you through your website, or how would they do that? If that's okay.
Yeah, they can email me if they'd like. I'd be happy to answer questions or whatever. I don't know. I'm fairly new in the business. I don't know if I have a whole lot to offer them, but if you want to shoot me an email, my email is Roy, ROY, @VigilantHome.com.
Awesome. Well, don't knock yourself for being new, Roy. Sometimes new ideas, because sometimes a lot of stuff's just recycled old ideas, and sometimes a new perspective, somebody coming from a new thing is a shot in the arm, and a good shot in the arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate that. There's a lot of. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to knock myself.
No. It's all right. Well, brother, I'm going to let you get on that plane and get to it, but I just appreciate you spending time with us this morning.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate the invite, Preston. Thanks for calling, and look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future, I hope.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see you. All right, brother. Well, be good, my friend.
All right. Take care.
All right, brother. You too. Bye.
Guys, I want to talk to you about a way that you can make more money and less liability. Actually, no liability. InspectNewHomes.com. InspectNewHomes.com. What happened is one of the largest builders in our market came to us and wanted us to do all the pre-inspections on all of their new homes. But they didn't want us to use just our normal reporting software. They wanted a system set up specifically for a builder so that they could do quality control on their subs, and they could also advertise that all their homes were inspected by a third party. So we came up with this software, this system, a website, a whole turnkey thing where you can take this and take it to your builder and show them how you can save them time, save them money, reduce the adversarial relationship. And it's a whole new market. You will not have to compete with other home inspectors for this market, and it reduces the adversarial relationship with the builder, and best of all, there's no liability. So I'm telling you, it is great. It's phenomenal. I'd love to tell you the amount of money we've made with this system, a lot, but you're welcome to check it out, inspectnewhomes.com, or on the Successful Home Inspector podcast, you can, there's a tab on there as well. All right, if you would like to make some more money with almost no liability, check out inspectnewhomes.com.
Thanks for checking out the Successful Home Inspector podcast. You can find show links at thesuccessfulhomeinspector.com. Check out the website for special offers, information, and other resources. Thanks again for listening to the Successful Home Inspector podcast. And remember to check back for new episodes. The Successful Home Inspector podcast is brought to you by Preston Sandlin and Home Inspection Carolina.